I remember that.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are here with another My Hero Academia manga chapter read for chapter 399. Wow, that's really close to 400. But yes, I'm here with Mark.
I
And Mark, there's something that we always do before every new manga chapter. What would that be?
recap episode.
Letting that one run. Yes, we got the recap episode. Just a real quick one. I believe this one's another one of the short ones. Well, I guess it kind of depends on, like, because I think we had quite a bit to talk about for this one as well. Because there was a lot of parallels because it is about Toshinori rising origin. And you know how those chapters kind of end up. Because they do draw a lot of parallels to, like, things that happened in the past. So kind of reiterates exactly what's Toshinori's life was, or at least his ambition for like a new society, as he's also trying to delay in present time. All for one, he was able to stop his mentor for just a little bit because obviously, you know, she's got things to do. She was floating away from him. He was like, wait, I got a plan for this. Hear me out. What was interesting was seeing the background for them and seeing, like, oddly those little weird, like, drilled nails, like, kind of popping up, and there didn't seem to be much of an explanation for what those were, but that was just an interesting little piece that they had, like, back then. And then we're immediately, like, pulled into, like, present time, drawing a lot of parallels to when Deku had met, like, All Might. He's pretty much going back. He gets sent back to the place where, like, Deku spots the villain attack from the very beginning. Gets sent to the very, like, same building that, you know, he actually reveals himself accidentally to Deku and kind of, like, talks about, like, his shortcomings and his new perspective at the time that, you know, a quirkless person probably wouldn't do too well in the hero world. But he's changed, like, since that point on and now. But it's just nice to kind of see that, like, go full circle. As All Might has, like, this good old laugh, and he just kind of thinks back of all the things that's happened up until this point. And he literally calls upon Hercules, gets every single, like, I'm not sure if it's every single bit, but he's got, like, more, like, quirk influences that he's got for his build. So we got to see Tailman, we get to see Tentacle, we see a little bit of Dark Shadow in the form of, like, just an independent, like, flying, like, hawk thing. He's got thrusters for Ingenium. He's got, like, Uravity's quirk as well. It's crazy. And we get the final bit showing that, like, Deku also recognizes through the vestige that All Might's also fighting as well. So it's just like, whoa, you get this last cool, like, 4-shot, like 2-pager. And it's just like the heroes versus the villains. And then we jump forward to 399.
399, man. They're taking a break after this. Just letting you know right now.
I did see that. It's a pretty lengthy one. Well, I mean, it's not as lengthy, but yeah, they're taking a break. But we'll jump
It'll
fairly.
be September 18th.
Okay, yeah.
So that's around 2 weeks.
That's just a little over 2 weeks. It's like 2 weeks and a day. Yeah, that's totally fine. Let's take a look at the current chapter that we got going on. I'll go ahead and read the chapter title first. 399, Organic, Mingling Clusters of Light. Again, more more buildings being destroyed. We get
House.
Yeah, it's bad out there. There's gonna be a lot of reconstruction later on. These should boost my speed and mobility for tighter turns. You must be getting bored of the one-sided struggle. As it shows a shot of, well, actually, maybe we get this shot right here. The Tentacle plus Froppy suction cups. Oh, okay, cool. So, I mean, it really looks like a Dr. Octopus mock-up, right? But obviously, like, we got tentacles, like, arms. Froppy's, like, suctions, like, apply that to, like, those specific, like, arms. So he's able to climb and maneuver around, like, the city. And he's just trying to, he's trying to run away. We get a close up of him, like, in the mech suit. He's gonna use Shoto's quirk. That's gonna be interesting.
On the rights for.
And Tailman.
or say his left hand has the Shoto cannon, and he's got his tail, which is from Tail Man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Froppy's like suction pads, and then I'll set the trap, he says. We go into this next page. Assuming repeated massive damage to that body shortens his lifespan, I know just the quirk to get the job done all at once. Oh, was he, what is he cooking?
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean shake the sauce? What do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
But yeah, All Might's like, the problem is the power source. Playing this by the book won't be all too effective.
As he coughs up blood again.
Oh, I see what's going on. He's like, lend me a hand, Anima, as it cuts to like the crows slash birds above. Not actual birds, but the actual like bird drones that I thought were Dark Shadow. Oh, it could also be as well, but in this case, they're gonna help with support there. Looks like All For One intercepts him like in the alleyway. He's like cackling like a mad fool 1 minute and then scampering and hiding the next. It is true. He's like, ha ha. He's like, then he ducks out. Even always like, oh, here he comes. This is a really tight hallway too. This is like that Spider-Man 3 scene when it's like, you know what was coming, Pete.
Oh, this alleyway is tiny.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, All Might needs to just do just that. Like, he needs to apply webs on one end to another, just hold it as tight as possible, and hope that like he gets a good concussion.
Just bonks the shit out of him.
But yeah, this is kind of an eerie one. Panel shows like All For One at the very end of like the the end right there. He's grabbing both ends. That's how tight it is, and he's just like.
Look, he dragged his fingers like a chalkboard, like.
Yeah, something like that. But he's saying, your goal here is no mystery to me, and I don't need to waste the excess strength to twist that garish grin into an anguished grimace. Ah, shoot. Yeah, these were the weird tendrils that he was able to exude out, like, just, like, as his default, like, moveset.
Whoa!
Power saving mode or saver mode is playing up to killing you, as like all the tendrils like extend out from like both ends. Really is a Spider-Man thing, but something like, oh, this is All Might like propelling himself out. Rise, and he's like, shoo, out of the alleyway. And back above.
Oh.
Oh.
Surprise Pikachu face. Oh.
I'll take these two after this. Let me see. Yeah, it's gross. This looks like something that I would see like. Honestly, maybe it would be Jujutsu Kaisen at this point.
They do look like her spirits, honestly.
Yeah. It's like these. It's like tendrils that form like a mouth. It's gross.
A mouth, some eyes, and a nose.
Yeah. Almost. I'm so shocked by that. I guess he says, liar, descend.
He said, energy saver mode is enough. Does this, liar?
I think they're both getting a kick out of this at this point. All for One's like, no, I really am conserving my power.
He said, no, deadass, I'm conserving.
And we get this crazy shot of like, oh, am I just trying to dodge these dudes? They're eating everything in their path. And just like All For One, just like kind of following slowly, like, now where'd that lovely smile go? You're nothing but a bag of bones missing half his guts. He's not wrong.
Still disrespectful.
Disrespectful as always. He continues, an old fool providing hospice care for himself with shoddy, I'm sorry, this is kind of like, it's all scrunched up together. Simulacrums of children's powers. I mean, yeah, alright, fair enough. He's got kind of a point here and there. Looks like part of the oh no, some of the tendrils actually caught the tentacle arms. He keeps going. Smile, you're on camera. The world's watching, remember? They'll see the symbol of peace falling to his doom as the symbol impetus. I don't really say that word a lot. But man, dude, he's such a
Oh wait, you
menace.
see this shit?
You take the next page. I see it though.
Their guiding light about to be snuffed out as he just fucking pops through the side like, "Ayo."
He's like Mirio that first time. Hey, the trash, right? Yeah, he goes over here.
Right. As we see, he just kind of pops out of the wall and kind of just decks All Might straight in the stomach.
Yikes.
Like, ah! You can see the blood splatter from his mouth.
Oh, yikes.
And then we see what looks like All Might when his quirk was still like. It looks like when he was like showing like how his was sheltering that campfire.
Yeah,
In his last
yeah.
fight
It's kind of like the visual of like the kindling of
of
that
him in like a
quirk.
snowstorm.
Yeah, it's now just a snowstorm. The fire's long gone. It's been passed.
As he shoves the Shoto cannon straight in his mouth
Bro.
and hooks him with the tail. Just bit
Hmm.
hop. You still don't get it. Good buddy. Lights tend to flicker on and off. As we see something in the sky.
Hmm.
So while my light might be snuffed out, someone's sure to pick up my torch and shine on. Next page.
Next page. Oh, whoa.
We've
Are they
we've
are they
we've been
cutting
waiting
out?
to see this get. We've been waiting to see this get covered.
Oh my god. They're
And
cutting
when the
into this one.
radiance. Yep. And when that radiance meets the darkness, as we see, I think this guy's name was Kunieda, the guy who
Oh,
controlled flowers.
yeah, I do see that.
There is no need for light. As we see, it looks like Aoyama has been just stopped by these flowers.
Yeah,
He's kind of just
he's
hung up
holding out.
there
Yeah.
as his laser just like
Mm-hmm.
we can see Fat Gum down there.
Oh yeah, I assume.
He's got a big old flower coming out of him. About 300 meters northeast of Ground Zero for the Divide and Conquer operation. 32 heroes were tasked with mopping up the villains who weren't warped away. All but one of those heroes were wiped out.
Oh.
We see Aoyama, Yuga Aoyama. As we see Kunyeta, where you see, my seedlings require only flesh to thrive. Kunyeta, Tartarus escapee, mass murderer, corpse collector. Disgusting.
Yee.
We see Fat Gum shrinking.
Yeah, he lost all his mass.
The roots. Slurp. Dig down all slow like. So my fat absorption can't do a thing. As he looks back to Aoyama, show him what you're made of, Aoyama. As we see a flower bloom from the back of Fat Gum.
Mm.
It's like, and then Kunya says, I do believe this is the largest flower on record. After just one bloom, the spreading pollen allowed them to propagate like a daisy chain, if you get what I mean.
Mm.
They are vertical extensions of myself via their roots.
Oh, there we go.
You've got no hope of escape, traitor. As he's holding Aoyama's
Traitor!
as he's holding Aoyama's belt.
Mm.
Without your belt, your power freely leaks out, leaving you unable to aim. And your desperate straining only feeds the plant. Imagine that, hoping to fit in, you became his pawn and accepted a power that was ill-suited for your physiology. As we see him,
Yeah,
just like,
it's tough.
to put it bluntly, you've led a pathetic, shameful life. We see a flashback of like an opening of a box, and his belt came in it, and we see his mom and dad so
Oh
happy for him.
no.
Oh, Yuga, how wonderful! And then we see Aoyama, hence why I said merci. And he said we see Kunita's like, huh? Did he really say that? And then we see Aoyama thinking back, reminding myself of how shamefully I've lived is what spurred me on to follow in the wake of the light they bring. As he thinks back to Izuku, it's given me the desire to shine from deep down within my core. As we see as the blood start coming out a little bit from those flowers on his face, and the light shines very brightly from his
Mm,
navel. You're up.
okay, we get a big illustration piece right here. It's like honestly, it's a combination of like all of these now growing like flowers, like going in to attack Aoyama, but like the lights are not as much like drooping down, or the lasers, they're now like shooting straight forward, albeit it's kind of in different directions. So we see I'm sorry, good, quickly double check Gunita. Sorry. So like Gunita, yeah, chasing after that which is beyond your sight has led you to equally shameful death. As we see, oh my god,
There she is. She refracts light.
she does reflect light, and like
It's
straight
our
from behind,
invisible girl.
our invisible girl. We cut to a quick line from All Might. Let there be light in the darkness. And we see Aoyama like pulling up a grin, so that I might twinkle as well. Says Aoyama as well. It's like kind of like a cutaway between like the fights here and there, as we see. Honestly, I'm trying to like figure what's going on here.
It says power substation,
It's power substitute. Oh shoot, that's
and
what
there's
the
two
birds are
wires
attached
going
to.
from it. Yeah, that's where the birds are.
Mm-hmm. You see the final panel in the bottom left corner right there, on this page anyway, of All Might kind of looking out, and there's a bunch of lights like around him in this like what's literally just like a winter storm in I guess the illustration of like the campfire, the kindling. Oh my god. Took you long enough, hero. Warp refraction. Naval laser. I love this.
Ew.
I love this panel. She pretty much now redirects all lasers towards Kunita, and then we have a shot at the bottom
Of Aoyama.
of Aoyama looking the exact same as he usually is in a comedic panel.
Pshoo.
And now I'm trying to figure out. Then now the next page is kind of wild. So yeah, this is the All Might fight here. We have the birds up in the sky, and it looks like they're carrying something. It
It's
looks,
Hercules.
is that Hercules, but like as a bike?
It's
I
like a
guess that's all that's
cannon.
left of him. But yeah, here's All Might continuing. So no, I'm not here to lose. All for one. Hold on, what am I saying? Oh yeah, this is this is all for one. He's just looking out like what are you looking
Is
at?
it huh?
Know this name as you as you burn away. Can't stop twinkling.
As
Oh,
it.
I see. Oh, he even incorporated like the naval laser quirk.
Dude, can I just say exactly what I thought of when I saw this panel? Do you know what this reminds me of?
What does this remind you of?
That's the Hammer of Dawn.
Oh,
That is legitimately the Hammer of Dawn from Gears of War.
yeah, I can see that. Whoa, my God.
Bro, my man just got blasted.
That's what he's trying to do. Also, wait, real quick, does that mean that he got the shot of Shoto's cannon like to his mouth, but it doesn't look like he actually like is using it yet, for what we can see.
I think he did use it because look at his face.
Let me see. Let me cut away to like what was it previously. I mean I don't really. Oh, maybe.
Look at
I
in
think
the very last panel. Look, you see a bunch of cracks and it looks like it's healing.
Oh yeah, you know what? He might happen like mid impact, and you see like some like bits like flying off here. I was like, oh okay, maybe that he did just like shoot out flames just like that.
Yeah, and then in the last panel you see. Yeah, I think it was. It looks like it went right through his cheek.
Yeah, okay, I see it.
And now if you go to the last panel, you see those cracks on his face where it was are like it's like healing up.
Yeah, okay, now I see it. That's nice. I wasn't expecting like for them to like combine both like fronts to create like a singular parallel that acts as serves as like Aoyama's like redemption. But I'm glad that
It's
they
the
also use like light refraction in this case too, because you know it really came down to that as well when Aoyama first got exposed.
Yeah, it was the light refraction.
Yeah.
Like she helped save him
Mm,
2 times now.
that's crazy. I'm glad that they were able to just. I mean, it's a really quick like highlight on both characters, but I'm glad that again, Class 1A is getting like some representation here too. Although I am like I've been like focused on just like the current fights, just like straight on. And the last time I remember seeing something was really like really Shoto and the family. As of recent memory right now. But let me see. But yeah, I guess ultimately what I wanted to say was like, yeah, Class 1A getting more representation during this fight. Because even
Oh,
though like,
absolutely.
because even though this is kind of like a forced type of like growth for them, it's just a necessary one just for the sake of the story and like where things are. But they still got the humor in it too, so I appreciate that.
Like I don't think it's forced necessarily, but I do think that it's because it feels with everything that's happened, it does feel organic.
I also want to clarify the fact that what I mean by force, I don't mean by like the writing, but just because of the in-world like circumstances.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no issues specifically on like how the pacing is here. But if I did, I would let you know for sure. But otherwise, I'm totally okay with like how
My man
the
got
pacing of
hit
the
by
writing
the
was.
hammer of dawn, dude.
Yeah. Can't
They
stop
they paint
twinkling.
so someone painted that laser on all for one, and my man just
My God.
like, dude, he got blasted.
Honestly, like, well, it's probably super expensive just to maintain like this type of like suit, but All Might really could just do all the damage, all for damage.
He hooked, as you can see, they hooked this laser up to a power substation
This is true.
that's probably meant to run a city. That's a lot of power.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
The
So,
the hammer of twinkling,
twinkling dawn.
the twinkling dawn,
I can't stop twinkling.
and just kind of back to Aoyama's face, and just like the little tiny details of like everything just being blown away.
Is Aoyama the thumbnail?
It's a shame, like, well, we have to be careful about that for sure. Trying to make sure that like the thumbnails aren't like too spoilery. There's also a lot of text there. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
Like, my goodness. This fight animated is gonna be nuts.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. But
Like, 'cause
yeah.
there's just so much going on.
Hmm. Man, I'm also just thinking about like the amount of like concept both like in the creative side of things and also just like how All Might would have to have like devised this up like in the world too. It's like, I need you to
Um,
make this.
Also, here's a question.
Mm,
All Might's restraining him with those tentac with the tail right now, isn't he?
yeah, you probably know. Yeah, he's holding them while the
Uh-oh.
laser goes down.
Uh-oh.
It's
I
good.
hope he got out of the way.
It's kind of one of those self-sacrificing moves
No.
because
It's like when
that
it's
isn't
like
just
when
like a
Raditz
singular
it's like
point that like takes out
it's like
like,
it's like when Goku held Raditz for the special beam cannon.
oh no.
Uh my heart isn't ready for this if that's what happens.
We'll see. I'm not sure if it like it'll just puncture pierce through or just like is just like mashing
Ash.
against like All for One right now. We'll see. I think they'll still keep like All Might breathing in the next chapter or two.
I certainly hope so.
And usually before the actual death there's like a huge red flag. But usually that's happening within the actual like chapter itself. So there's also that.
I'm just
So
hoping that I'm just hoping that All Might it just shows that All Might was able to get away or at least shield himself with All for One.
yeah. I think, yeah, I wouldn't. Obviously, I wouldn't want All Might to go away, but it'd be crazy to see, like, literally the next chapter. You just get this shot of like Deku, and like he's able to see all of, like the predecessors, and all of a sudden you see All Might there, and it's like, oh, oh,
What are you doing here?
what do you, what do you mean? All Might in the vestiges place now is shaking the shaking the sauce. What do you mean?
And it was like, wait, what did John Bernthal mean?
I mean, honestly, like I'm trying to think. Is there? Well, obviously, there's earphone jack that he hasn't used yet. Create T is kind of like a different beast within itself. It might be incorporated by just the nanotech like incorporated. Animal we just saw. Tentacle we also saw. The fact that he has Shoto, he's been able to use. Oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't have Bakugos yet.
Yeah, he hasn't used explosion.
Oh my god. Oh, if he has that in the tuck still, and he just like unleashed like a Hammer of Dawn move, that means he has like one last thing up his sleeves just to kind of hold him back just a little bit. He might even just kind of thwart like All for One like entirely, and it'll just be All for Shiggy left. That would actually be
Honestly,
really dope, actually, because I really was expecting him to do like a fair bit of damage, but ultimately not get the job done, and then All for One would be able to merge with like Shigaraki fully, or just rejoin them, and then like Deku would have to like deal with both of them at once with possibly someone else. Maybe Bakugo would get revived at that point, and then like that would create like the 2-on-2 final like battle. And I think that'd be sick, but also really sad for All Might. But if All Might could actually just like hold him off until like he literally fades away via Aries quirk, then I think that's also a pretty good dub there too. The
like
fact
I
that
say,
All
'cause either
Might
way,
as
that man's on
quirkless,
a path right now to becoming a literal amoeba.
I think All Might winning this fight is would be like so substantial for like the character and just the fact that he is a quirkless dude who just took down like one of the big bads. It's like whoa.
I know.
Granted, it's
It's
a
like
lot of
legit.
tech, but you know,
It's like legitimately All Might was able to just take down a guy who had all the quirks versus and he had no quirks.
versus hydrogen bomb versus a coughing baby.
Hydrogen bomb versus water balloon.
But I think that's all I got. Uh, so as we were saying earlier, there was going to be a delay, or not delay, but we're going to have our next chapter actually in a few weeks instead of like the following. Last
He
time I
probably wants.
checked,
It's probably gonna be big because it's chapter 400. So they're probably do. He's probably
this is
400's
true.
probably got
Yeah, it
something
is
in the works.
400. So, like you can imagine a big color spread as the beginner. Um, I don't know if they had this planned out. They probably did have this planned out as far as like what events are going to transpire that will make 400 like momentous.
Yeah, because
Both
I think
in.
if I'm not mistaken, yeah, chapter 100, 200, 300, they all had some kind of big event going on.
Hmm. I guess we'd have to like deep dive into what they were and how they impacted the story, but Hopefully they'll been positive because like All Might's at death's door really quick. So it'd be great if they just kind of gave him the dub and not just like, oh well, in chapter
Please,
400
please
he
do not kill him.
passes.
Please do not kill him. No one is ready for that.
Or
It's like people are usually on board for characters dying. All Might is the one character I've seen where everyone is like, please no, please no.
meanwhile for me, I'm like, I'm not on board with anyone going away, dude.
Dude.
Seeing who was it? They gave what was his name? The Shield one. I think it was
Oh,
Rust.
Crust.
Crust.
That man went out like a real one.
Yeah, like I wasn't ready for that.
My man did it with a thumbs up and a smile on his face.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, what they
He
could
did.
do, they can cut away to the Deku fight like real quick. And it's like chapter 400 is like, it's been a good year, but here he is, Bach goes back up again.
I swear, dude. Beats jump fucking blue ball to take us away from that moment with the I can't stop twinkling beam hitting them just to go to Izuku's fight.
I mean, they can go either
That
way
would
at this
be
point. Like they literally just
such a blue ball.
I mean, they could. They've done like similar stuff before in other works, if anything. The fact that they cut away to like Aoyama's fight, in the middle of this was something I wasn't even expecting at all. But then like the can't stop twinkling effect, I saw that, I was like, okay, I get that. I totally get why they brought that in there, just like
You're like,
as a good
now I
parallel.
see why. Because now they wrapped up they tied off that loose end and did that fight and managed to work into why we're using that quirk right now.
Mm-hmm. Because I think like without showing Aoyama and like his drive, otherwise
It
the
would
can't stop
it wouldn't have had
twinkling
as
will
big
just
a
it
yeah,
just
it
adds
wouldn't have as
point.
big as like a feeling or an effect essentially.
Yeah, because can't stop twinkling, like the Hammer of Dawn effect would have been really cool, but I think it just would feel different if you did not include Aoyama in this.
It makes it have more of an emotional impact.
Yeah, because I think it's both showing like how impactful he has been to the entire cast, um, and how All Might kind of recognizes him too. Hence why he's used only his students' quirks. But yeah. So you were saying September 19th or 18th? 18th is when we'll be getting the next
September
chapter.
18th, I believe it said.
That's chapter 400. That's gonna be insane. Again, but we've already made our speculations of what that could be. But Mark, is there anything you'd like to say before we go ahead and wrap on this one?
No, I think we covered everything.
Alrighty then. In that case, we'll go ahead and we'll call it here. Appreciate everyone for tuning in for this manga chapter. This was $3.99. We'll be joining you guys whenever we can for 400. And yeah, again, appreciate everyone for tuning in. And we'll see you guys in that next chapter. Hashtag bye, everybody.